Okay, we're going to kick it off here. So each day we have started with a little bit of research and future trending from NKBA. Tuesday we talked about style. We talked products on Wednesday. And today we're going to hear about future design trends regarding space. First, we're going to hear from Cambria, who is sponsoring this trend series. Joining us today to say a few words and introduce our speaker is Miss Summer Kath. Now, Summer Kath is the creative force behind all new design launches at Cambria. You guys, this is a sparkly job. If you have seen this booth, it is so sparkly. Oh my goodness. 200 plus designs and growing. Summer is responsible for translating consumers' heartfelt desires into brands and creating, really meeting demand for things that just don't exist in the marketplace yet. Keen eye for art and science and everything quartz. Miss Summer Kath, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Lori. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy third day of KBIS. I had a nice introduction, so I don't need to tell you who I am, but we are really proud from Cambria and on behalf of our entire team that's here, 70 people. We are so excited. I love these stats. I love the first-time attendees. I have met so many people that this is their first time, and what a show and what an impression this is making. So we're extremely proud to be here. If you haven't visited our sparkly booth in the quotes I just heard, that's a good one. Please do visit our booth right down this aisle, not too far. You cannot miss us. We are debuting a brand new collection called the Alloys, featuring brass and steel. We're seeing a lot of brass at this show. It's not going away. In fact, we were on a panel this week about brass and black, and it's here to stay. So please come see our new collections and new designs that we are so proud to show off. But I'm here to introduce to you our first speaker today, Trend Talks, Pam McNally. She's Senior Vice President of Marketing and Digital. I'm going to tell you about her. So prior to joining the NKBA in June 2020, she was Vice President of Digital for Sandow, an amazing company. I'm sure you all know their wonderful collection of print, material bank, all those wonderful inventions. Before joining Sandow, Pam held various senior digital and editorial positions for large consumer brands. Now, Pam is going to present the research and then introduce her very special guest and our friend, Michelle Smith-Boyd, hailing from Atlanta. He has a new show on HGTV, and I'm sure he's going to talk all about it. So there'll be a Q&A. You guys get to ask all kinds of questions of Michelle. He's fun, and Pam's amazing. So before Pam, I think we have a little video, a Cambria video, to tease you and hopefully incent you to come over to our booth. So thank you, and enjoy your day.
Extraordinary, nature-inspired elements make a splash in Cambria's new alloy collection designs. Innovative aesthetics fuse the purest white quartz, creating striking statements and unmatched luxury. Made for those who crave more than the status quo. Cambria, a legend in every design.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm going to just say how proud I am that you are here. Can you hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? So a couple things. I never go on stage. I don't like being on stage. I like to walk around. The other thing is we're going to do about 10 minutes of this presentation real fast. And then Michelle and I are going to sit right here. I have 2 seat warmers. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to have a nice little chat. So we will not be on stage. You're not going to miss anything. So what I wanted to talk about today, 2 things. One is, anybody see Groundhog, the groundhog? They saw their 6 weeks, 6 more weeks of winter. How terrible is that? And the other thing is, you know why I'm dressed like this? Even though I'm in Vegas, it's been friggin' cold in here. So I didn't realize that last day, and I really finally woke up to where, okay, scarf and a coat. I want to talk about space. Because here's the thing about space after the pandemic. I think we all agree the way we think about space, the way we design space, the way we live in space has definitely changed. Would you guys all agree with that? That it's so totally different. And what's interesting also, I have to say, is that more involved, more complex projects. Notice, yes, you have some of them are getting bigger, but guess what? Some of them are also getting smaller. There's this downsizing that's happening, particularly with the luxury market, which I find super, super interesting. And you know what they're doing is, even though the space is smaller, there's a lot they're packing into that space. Would anybody not agree with that? No hand. Are we awake? It's okay. I'll go through this fast. So kitchens are definitely getting larger. Even though they're downsizing the overall house, there are a couple of rooms that are getting larger and where you're spending most of your time. One of them is kitchens, right? What's the other? Bath. Bath. So because the kitchen is becoming not just a kitchen, it is family room, it is the playroom, it is the office, etc. 33% say they had larger, more involved. I think that, it's almost 40. I think this is a little low, to be quite honest, because I would say, how many of you are designing more complex, more integrated spaces? Raise your hand. And why is that?
That's just what people want. They want to be connected to that kitchen space and kind of make it frill throughout the whole main floor.
Right. So it's a lot more involved because, you know what? Technology. The things they want to put into that space. So if you look at this, this is a pretty amazing space, but there's a lot going on. How many work triangles do we see here? Anybody? How many work triangles? I can see at least probably 2, maybe 3. So the work triangle is still alive, but now because the space is bigger, we've got more of them. And for different things, we've got prepping, cooking, entertaining. So also the other thing that's happening, bigger spaces means bigger islands, because guess what people are using their islands for? What are they using their islands for? Not just prepping or cooking. Work. Anything else? Nicole? Schoolwork, kids, prepping, entertaining. It's becoming kind of like the place where you do everything. Well, that in the bathroom, we'll get to that in a minute. So if you look at this also, not only is it bigger, but they're much more technologically advanced. So you don't need plugs now anymore. Your Surface can charge. So the other thing, if you've got a big kitchen, one island is not enough. Because there's so many things that you want to do. So I may be over there cooking, but my kids might be doing their homework. Somebody might be doing their work. They might be prepping, or even if you have guests, entertaining. So there's this group that is putting in a second island, but you definitely have to have a bigger footprint to do that. Has anybody here recently designed a kitchen with more than 2 islands? Yeah. And why was that? What were those 3 islands for?
It was for multiple uses. One was for the sink and the
Sink.
area. One
Yep.
was for seating or office room.
Yeah. So there are people now, it's not just 2, but 3. So let's all agree, nobody wants to see crap. I almost said another word. Nobody wants to see crap on their calendars or in their homes, unless, of course, you have kids like mine that just drop things. Everything goes all over. But that's why more storage. There's an increase in storage that's needed, even though some people might be downsizing. Guess what? They want places to hide things. There's a reason why that we have these larger cabinets and also a walk-in pantry. How many of you recently have expanded your kitchen, made sure that there's a connected walk-in pantry? Raise your hand. Why is that?
It becomes almost a secondary kitchen.
Right.
A dirty kitchen.
Right.
Kind of thing, yeah.
So not only do you have appliances in your main kitchen, but now you've got the smaller appliances, which used to be on your counter or hidden behind like appliance garages, are now going in the pantry. And I got to say, I love this. This is like the size of an apartment. I want to live here by myself. Look how great this is. The only thing I'm going to tell you is, how many of you have seen, and I hate to say it, I'm going to bring it up, the Kardashians' pantry. They're always showing off their house. Right. All right, Helen, how does it look? Does it look real?
It looks like a store.
Right. Who does that, though? If you have kids under the age of 10, there is no way this pantry is going to look like this. There is no friggin' way. But I would say, though, it looks really nice. But I would say, again, that people want storage. They want tons of storage, even though the space might be a little smaller, to put things away. And guess what? What else is happening? As people are not moving, it's too expensive to buy another home. They're deciding they're going to stay because guess what? I don't want to pay the higher interest rates. What are they also doing? They're aging in place. So what does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that you have to set up things that are more accessible and safe.
Yeah. Safety, accessibility for when you age in place. Because most people are thinking, you know what? Those interest rates, even though they're below 6% now, they're still not down to the 2 to 3% we had. So what are they doing? Why would I then move to a home that might be smaller, more expensive, and pay a high interest rate? So I'm going to stay where I am, right? Even though maybe I don't like it, but I'm going to remodel. So as Todd Tomlak from Zonda said, golden age of remodeling, this is what we're in. So most people remodel, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to age in place. They're going to design for when they get older. And one of the main things is making sure your drawers deep, bigger, and to be honest, getting rid of upper cabinets. Why is that? Why would I want to get rid of upper cabinets as I age? Anybody? Sorry? hard to reach, also dangerous. Guess what? I'm up, I'm picking something heavy, clonk, okay? So at the end of the day, this is beautiful. Plus, I gotta say, I love this. I love the unobstructed view that you can see, the walls, and look how gorgeous that backsplash is. And the other thing is, guess what that also allows me to do? What does that also allow me to do if I don't have upper cabinets? Windows. Love windows. Windows, less panes, larger windows. You can see outside. Bringing the outdoors in, just a major factor. Why? Health and wellness. We all know that sunlight and light makes us feel better, right? How many of you feel good in this space? Look at these lights. Not only do they make you look bad, I mean, God, I need a lot of help. This is even worse. But the reality is, you know what, this is kind of depressing. Couldn't we do this outside? So again, you know, opening it up, bigger windows, fewer panes, and glass doors. I mean, this is an amazing kitchen, but what don't you really see? Upper cabinets, look at those lower, look at also the island, how big it is, and the footprint it takes, and they also have a table. So the other thing you're going to see also is in baths, you're going to take down walls because the bath has become almost like a separate apartment. It's like a place where you're going to see what? A dressing room, probably, an attached sitting room, and my favorite part is the wine dispenser. You're going to go to a little wine dispenser, a coffee dispenser. You're going to hang out, more involved, bigger. So if you're going to make a bigger footprint in your home, it's probably going to be these two areas. It's going to be your kitchen, and it's definitely going to be your bath because that is your sanctuary. You're going to want to go to get away. So look how beautiful this is. That's a dressing room. I mean, would you want to hang out in here? I definitely would. How soothing is that? Look at that wood, the organic feeling, and the lighting is amazing. This is one of my favorites because what you do see some glass, but what also is happening is that we're not using glass a lot in our showers anymore. And why is that? Sorry? Hard to clean, right? How many of you, I mean, I got to be honest. My son called me, said he was taking a shower in my bath. I'm like, are you squeegeeing? Are you making sure that, afterwards that you're making sure you're spraying the spray and squeegeeing the glass? Because otherwise, guess what? Right? It looks terrible. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, get out of that shower. And then, you know what? This is interesting because I just did a panel yesterday on multi-generational housing. So there is this big movement towards removing the tub. Why is that? To make the showers bigger because the whole family is going in there, right? Everybody and their brother and the neighbors are in the shower now, including the dogs. But guess what? What's happening with multi-generational housing is this is a great thing if you don't have kids. But if you have kids, what's the problem? Yeah, you have to have a bathtub, unless you're holding them as you shower. That might be a little dangerous, but okay. So what's happening is that, obviously people have 2-3 baths, but in the primary bath, what they're saying is if it's a multi-generational housing, you probably wouldn't give up your tub because you'd want to be able to use it for your grandchildren, for kids that are living in the home, even if you have another bath. Oh, let me ask, how many of you agree with that, removing the tub? You agree? Agree as in like aesthetically, or do you think that that people should not remove the tub? Let me put it that way. How many of you feel like when a client asks you to remove the tub, do you argue with them? Do you say it's probably not a good idea? How many of you? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay. It's so interesting when I ask designers about this, most of them say you need a tub. To be considered a luxury primary bath, they think, the majority, at least that I've spoken to, think that you need a bathtub. So they try to argue and tell people that you shouldn't take it out. Personally, I'm not a tub person. I want like a 20 by 20 shower. I want to be able to prance around and dance in there. I want to have a party in there. So I prefer that than a tub. So if you look at this, we were just talking about this. This is a pretty big shower. What is the one thing that you guys see that might be problematic? Just about what we were talking about before about aging in place. Yeah, the step up. That is, and it's a beautiful shower, don't get me wrong. It's gorgeous, it's lovely. I love the 2 shower heads that are amazing. But if you're in a wheelchair, or even if you're getting older like me and you have trouble stepping up, which I do, guys, I do. That's why I'm not going on stage. You could probably fall, which is probably not a good thing. So bringing the outside in, also in the bath. I mean, what you're seeing now is these big windows because nobody cares if their neighbors sees them. The neighbors might care, but they don't care. So the reality is, or you have smart glass. But now you're seeing these bigger windows over the tub. You're seeing them actually in showers. And yesterday somebody spoke about the fact they put a sliding door into the shower for inside out. So again, pretty gorgeous, right? Onto a deck, pretty amazing. Although I was like, that shower's a little small. That's it for me, my solo part. So now I'm going to call out Michelle Smith-Boyd. Where is he? Michelle? Oh, he's running from the back. I hear him. Is he coming? Oh, there you are. Guys, do you mind? So we're going to sit here so that we can see what's up on stage. You guys don't mind, right? You don't want to see us. You want to see our pictures. So,
Hi.
so this is Michelle Smith-Boyd.
Hey, everybody. Good morning.
Michelle, you want, before we sit down and they can't see us, you want to say a little bit about what you do, how you do it, why you're amazing?
I just finished my concert in the back. This microphone makes me feel like I should be dancing or something. I don't know. But
do a little bit. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Damn, did I just set myself up? I'm an interior designer in Atlanta, Georgia. I design product. I have a few things at Crate and Barrels, Z Gallery, and I have a couple TV shows on HGTV.
HGTV, yes, we know that. I'm so sad you put that jacket on because I love that sweater. You have an amazing sweater that you're wearing. You're going to have to give it to me.
It's my ode to Michael Jackson, and with this microphone, I might just, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I think you got to. So I'm going to give this to you because these are your images, and let's talk through it, Okay. So I'm going to sit. If you'd like to walk, you can. Is that your hat?
That's my hat, but my head is okay right now.
Okay, just check in. Just want to make sure. So let's talk a little about the change in space that's happened in the last several years. Why don't you talk about how you're designing for it, what you're seeing with your clients, high end?
I'm a luxury designer. However, that's a weird title because luxury is subjective. And I feel like my job, honestly, my mission as a designer is to get our clients to understand that they can define what luxury is for themselves. It doesn't have to be an inherited version. Like, mom's version of luxury might have been a fur stole and a gold watch. Mine is more of an experience. So it's different. And once I can figure out what that means for them, I can figure out how to interpret it at home.
I think that first stole, I love the first stole. That's an experience, by the way. So why don't you talk a little bit about these two images and what they represent?
Well, this is where the magic happens. This is my studio.
Oh, that is your studio.
This is where we work.
How clean is that?
Well, that's for the picture, Come on now.
Okay, all right.
Come on. I'm anal, but I ain't that bad.
Okay.
So, I live at that white table back there. Basically, I live at that table. And my favorite thing about the studio is this white is post-pandemic. Something happened during the pandemic that I was ready to go back to the white walls and live in a gallery. But I can also see things so much more clearly. The studio used to be downstairs, and I moved it up to the main level so we can get all that natural light and so forth. And it just needs to be like a blank slate.
I love it. What's on the floor? Because I love what's on the right. The image on the right is amazing. I love the archway, and you can see back to that chandelier, amazing chandelier. What's on the floor?
It is actually porcelain, meant to look like horn.
Gorgeous.
It looks way more expensive than it is. That's my favorite look.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to have to tell me what it is. I'm going to move to your next image. And let's talk a little bit about, I was talking about how now today homes are more complex, larger in some cases. You want to talk a little bit about that? I mean, these are gorgeous kitchens. Are you seeing bigger kitchens? Are you seeing two kitchens? What are you seeing when it comes to the kitchen?
It's funny. I just finished a project in October that had two kitchens. Competition show. Every team had at least two kitchens in the house, maybe three.
Wow.
That's the thing.
In the same, so is it a dirty kitchen, one behind the other, or in different parts of the house?
Both ways.
Wow.
I did one upstairs and one downstairs, but there was a team that did a kitchen just behind, like a prep kitchen, basically, laying it out for a caterer, but it's really for the family. And I found designing with different cultures, they also have kitchens separate from the main kitchen where people eat and have access to. This is a kitchen we did recently that features Scarabray from Cambria, which I'm obsessed with. This is actually in my studio also. This pattern is so good.
I heard this is is this right? Is this one of the most popular, Pat? Yeah, it's
Can
pretty
you see
amazing.
why? I mean, it's so good. And I like anything matte, and this surface is one like that. That honed finish is so good. The waterfall, the opportunity to have those veins pick up down the side, it's like art, So the rest of the kitchen is incredibly minimal because the surface is doing all the work.
What about the appliances? I mean, I see wall ovens. Is that a range right there, or is that induction or?
It is, and it's funny because we've been having this conversation all week about where the trend is going with kitchens away from gas, which I love gas cooking, but I don't want the side effects, right? And soon enough, the country will ban those altogether.
I got to be honest. I mean, I'm not a chef, but I do know some, and they're obsessed with not induction but gas. They do
Yeah.
love the gas. I don't know how we're going to do that shift,
I
right?
agree. I agree. It's a little tougher to gauge the temperature if you can't see the flame, right? Or maybe we just spoiled. I don't know.
I think we are spoiled. I want to talk a little bit also about the pendants that you have, because it
Sure.
used to be that we'd have these statement chandeliers in the kitchen. Remember Women's
Right.
Cafes? Now they're more target. You have task lighting. Can you talk a little bit about the lighting that you have there?
So the lighting is incredibly minimal, right? And this house is more transitional than contemporary. But this is the story. This is 1500 West Wesley. I have a massive client at 1480 right next door. The neighbor's house, I did a couple of updates 2 years into working at 1480. And they moved and sold the house to this family, who invited me back over
that's great.
to do updates again.
Yeah.
So these are their updates. This happened just last year. The lighting is a lot more minimal than where I came from. I think designing before, I was designing like I had something to prove, right? Like, gotta get that big chandelier, like you said, but
Right.
that inherited version of luxury. And here, it's just enough, like just a little exclamation point, like little diamond earrings on your all black outfit, just enough jewelry to make it classic.
Something.
Yeah.
I need something. So just on the right, is that is that like a breakfast room, or is that the dining room? What is that on the right?
It is breakfast. So on the image on the left, if we follow that island
Right.
forward, we'd run
Nice.
right into this breakfast area. That's the door I enter through. I'm the help, you see? And and I have this thing for these black sinks. Again, matte. All that hardware, black and easy. But you see the plumbing, that is. But on the cabinets, it's silver. We can do whatever we want to do.
Is it brushed, or is it?
Definitely brushed.
Nice.
Definitely brushed.
So we were just talking about that, and somebody asked me yesterday about gold, because I like gold if it's matte. Only if it's matte. And to me, it's like a staple, and it's like a neutral color. What are your thoughts on that?
I like gold when it is a living finish. I like the unlacquered brass. I want to see that patina. I want it to age with me. I don't want it to look young and shiny and I'm getting old. I need it to age with me.
Yeah, well, it already aged with me. Mine's pretty old. You want to go to your next image? Let's see what you got. Oh my God, how amazing is that? Talk a little bit about there. You've got that statement chandelier. I love the art. Can you say a little bit about the room and the way you set it up?
So this is clients that have become friends. This is the Evans family, and this house was published in the book last year called Modish. So we're super proud of it. Again, minimal color palette. I have this thing about blue grays and things that occur naturally, inside also, as opposed to hot pink. I have nothing against it, but this is much more soothing.
I love the navy. Is that navy? I love the navy.
Yeah.
And what is the? Is that gold? Is that a gold little table right there, side table?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Those gold accents really go a long way. They are a young family. They have children. The oldest, I think, is 5. There's a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And they wanted a luxury feel in the house. However, all the fabrics are outdoor.
Even the white? Because I would be really
Even the
afraid
white.
about that.
Even
Okay.
the white.
Nice.
And their kids are like, it's incredible. I was like, are you sure about this? And yeah.
So what fabric outdoor did you use?
It's an outdoor velvet. I think we have some from, Pindler.
Sombrella.
We have some from Sombrella.
Yeah, great.
I mean, we have some of everything there.
I don't know. So
Everything.
does that, is that like the family room, living room, that does it open into the kitchen, or is that a separate?
This should be the family room.
Okay.
But they live more in the keeping room, the room off with the beams
Right.
into the back. So this room really only works for entertaining, to tell you the truth. They like to walk by a room kind of a thing. I'm not that guy. I live all over my house.
Me too.
But this client is a little bit different.
They must have a big house. If they've got those
It's
rooms,
a
they can
big
just
house.
walk by.
It's
Okay.
a big house. And so
Wow.
this is the keeping room where they hang out a little bit more. That rug on the floor is from one of my collections.
That
but
is fabulous.
That's a sofa I've been dying for years. And since I couldn't have it,
You gave it to them.
I'm okay with them buying it, right? I feel like I got some part of it.
So what kind of fabric and material is that?
So the sofa is, I have this thing about men's tailoring, those fabrics. So it is a heavy, heavy tweed. So it would be an incredible coat, but you can imagine what it feels like to lay on it,
I bet
right?
there'll be, now, do they have animals? They have
No
pets?
animals.
Oh, no
3
wonder.
kids, that's enough.
I was
No
going to
animals.
say, but if you have an animal, I don't know if that would last. And then talk about the right, because this is amazing. Is that a custom light over? I can't see if is that a chandelier?
It's a chandelier,
Yeah.
and it's cork. And so the
Cork.
light is actually bleeding through the cork. So it's gold inside. And we've got that unlacquered brass that I love as the stem. And I found that chandelier, that company at a convention much like this, BDNY.
Yeah, okay,
that
New
company,
York.
exactly,
Yeah.
super cool. And they love anything that feels like really exclusive that
I
they
love the
won't see at their
texture.
neighbor's house.
So you're into mixing textures, it seems,
A lot.
right? So talk a little bit about how you do that. How do you do it so it's not too much, just enough? Talk a little bit about balance.
I apply fashion rules to interiors. I love the idea of mixing textures, getting dressed, and I want to see the same thing in the room. It should really have the same personality as the homeowner, right? The more I learn about them, the better I can design on their behalf. But I also use the same rules for editing. You know, like you're supposed to take at least one thing off when you hit the mirror before you leave out of the house.
Do you do that?
I do that. But I see
You're the
many
rare
people
designer,
don't.
by the way, that does that. I gotta say, but okay.
But it took me years to get here.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
There's a whole bunch of gaudy mess in the past. We're not going to talk about that.
What's on the walls, though?
It is actually a wall covering that's meant to look like antique mirror.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, antique
Gorgeous.
mirror. It's the Cole and Son product that I've used for years. A lot of times we use it on ceilings because you can't touch it and you don't know if it's glass or not. But a little bit of metallic with all the mattes that I love. Every once in a while, put some variants. It's always cool.
So you brought up ceilings because I really love ceilings. I love to do different things with ceilings, and most people think that they forget about it. Talk to me a little bit about what your
It's the
thoughts
fifth
are.
wall.
Right?
It's the fifth wall. You cannot forget the
Oh,
ceiling.
speaking of
Always.
which.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
This is the primary bedroom. And that wall, the walls in that bedroom are all covered in a faux silk. So it's like a charcoal gray silk. That bedside table is actually shagreen, so it's lots of texture. And on the ceiling, you see where the chandelier is a gold leaf. So no surface is uncovered. The trim is always painted the same as the walls for me. In Atlanta, we have a lot of traditional architecture with heavy crown molding and so forth and so on. And that's fine. Not exactly my taste always. So one way to make the ceilings look taller and make the space look more current is to paint the trim the same as the wall.
So did you create that kind of coffered ceiling, or was it like that before?
Found it.
Really?
I found it.
Wow.
And it's fun, right?
And what about that chandelier? Talk a little bit. I mean, does that weigh a lot? I mean,
No, it's not
it looks
because
pretty heavy
it
duty.
looks like jewelry. It's actually like necklaces. It's like chains.
Really?
It's incredible. LED. And I would love to tell you the name of the company, but it's escaping me.
That's okay. Maybe you'll think about it and tell me.
Yeah.
And I'll put it in my tiny little bedroom. It'll
They-
probably touch my bed.
This client has a thing for lighting. If you've noticed throughout the house, there's
gorgeous.
incredible light fixtures. And it's the one thing that the husband is willing to spend money on.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the only thing?
That's really the only thing. That's really the only thing. Everything else is a bit of a fight, but lighting is his thing.
So I'm assuming that the right is also in the same house, or no?
Right is downstairs. That is basement wine cellar, and there's a theater down there.
I gotta say, I hope you have a video of this walk, because this house seems really amazing. Do you guys agree? This house looks, I mean, every room is like a treasure chest. I mean, this is gorgeous on the
Thank
right.
you.
And what
Thank
is
you.
that in the, what is that wall or backsplash?
So, you know what? It's solid surface on the wall. I do it with Cambria. I do it with natural stone. I have this thing about slabs. If you say okay, I'm full steam ahead because it's expensive.
Yes.
You know, and now we have the capacity to do maybe like a 2 cm as opposed to 3 or 4 on the wall. It's lighter, and so it's a little bit less costly to move and install. But it's incredible.
Do you know what that pattern? What is that, Cambria? Pat, do you know what that is? That's because that's gorgeous too. I really like that.
Pat, can you help me?
That's all right. All right, guys. All right. We got to move on then. I'm sorry.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I think we can move on. Yeah, but I got to say that house is fabulous. Are we
Thank
done
you.
with the images?
I didn't think so. I had more. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
So let's talk. Let me just see what time it is, guys. Give me a second here. I got to see. What time is it, Pat? Oh, we got a little time. So talk to me about color. Because I got to say, it looks like you use color as adding drama
Right.
and focal points. So what are your thoughts about color going forward?
I'm weird
You're
right
weird?
now. Yeah, because I could answer this differently tomorrow. But I am back to the white wall. If you have gray walls, I am sorry. I did it for 100 years, and I'm tired of it. I don't want to see the gray anymore. I think it's time for browns to come back. You remember how everything like 10 years ago was chocolate brown and light blue or orange or something like that. And even in the studio space, that sofa back there, that curved sofa was like a tobacco, like a cognac. I think that's where we're going now, to add warmth to these light spaces.
So when you said brown, I was thinking 70s guys. You know how that brown used to, so obviously I'm dating myself. He's like 10 years ago. So let's see if there's any questions. Who has the microphone? Here, you know what?
I grew up with those plaid brown sofas.
So I'll take that and give it to people. All right, who has questions? Any questions for Michelle? None for me, guys. Any questions for Michelle? About his design, how he designs?
Yeah.
Anybody? Do I see hands? Anybody? Anybody from my team want to ask a question? We got no questions, guys?
It's too early?
Whoa, no. Someone. Helen. Helen has a question.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so my question is, what's your favorite room to remodel?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Helen.
That's a good question. And the honest answer is it depends on the budget. But I would probably say the primary bedroom.
Perfect.
Because
Okay.
it's indulgent, right? We usually save it till the end because by that time, the client has had some experience with designing the house and have tried all these different things, and that bedroom gets to be all the things you wish you did everywhere else in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. So I do have a question, though, about that. So what are you seeing in the primary bedroom? What are you doing there? I mean, I don't want to know, like, any personal stuff, but I mean, like, when it comes to design, what are we doing? Like, in terms of colors, in terms of materials, how you're setting it up?
My rule of thumb is that it's always a little darker than
Okay.
everywhere else. Like, I immediately want to relax. I don't even watch TV in bed anymore. I'm definitely just wanting to go there, and it needs to feel like a retreat, right? I hate the idea of people living better in hotels than they do at
Right?
home.
Yes.
And so all those hospitality sensibilities I like to adopt in a primary bedroom.
So when you do the primary bedroom, let me ask, are you also doing the primary bath? Are they having you do both, and how do you make the connection between the two? Are you making them larger? Is it like their own section of the house? How are you designing them together?
It's funny, our dinner conversation last night was about this. We are starting to see separate bedrooms again.
Really?
Yeah!
Oh, okay.
I guess that's
I'm
a
for
happy
that.
marriage.
I'm for that. Who's for that? I'm for that. I like my own space, right?
It's an interesting marriage for sure. But bathrooms are really specific, and I understand why there's certain designers that specialize in kitchens and bathrooms.
Yes.
They're super specific. I think that is the place where most people are introducing technology in that bath, from lighting all the way down to the bathtubs and the showers and all those things integrated. I think heated floors now are becoming standard. It's not a luxury as much as it used to be anymore. It's a lot more accessible, which is really cool.
Now, do you work with when you're doing a bath? Do you work with anybody like an integrator? How do you handle the tech? Or are you just not?
I usually lean on my rep in the showroom a lot, but I
Okay.
am working with more tech brands, brands like Lutron, and Atlanta Home Theater is a partner I work with all the time. They do everything.
Good.
They do everything as far as introducing technology into a home, especially retrofitting, because most
Very
of the
hard.
homes in
Yep.
Atlanta,
Very hard to retrofit. It's always easier for a new build, so you always
Yeah.
want to do that in the beginning, right? Wouldn't you agree? Before you do anything, speak to your integrator or somebody who's handling the tech. Do that first.
I literally had to take the entire ceiling off
Yeah.
of that white space in order to get the Lutron in.
Yep. So you're nodding your head because you know, right? Yeah.
It's tough, but it's worth it.
Oh, yeah. Strip all the walls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Down
Yeah.
to the studs and ceiling.
Any other questions? Ah, here we go. Thank you.
I can't see.
Here you go.
Hi. What differences do you see with the incoming generations of Gen Z, millennial, versus the baby boomers in terms of design choices?
Choices.
Choices. If any.
No, I'm thinking about it because I toured a few show houses recently in Atlanta, and the groups are getting really younger, the designers that they're bringing in, and they all, ooh, I'm going to be really careful.
Don't be careful. Don't be careful. This is the zone, guys. We're in the zone.
It almost looked like, how runway shows will come down, and you're like, how did they know that they were using the same color, or the palettes are all the same? It's really interesting. It feels like a more unified kind of approach. It's interesting. They use a lot of color, a lot more than I do and my counterparts do. I feel like the older we get or the longer we do this, the more refined we become. And I think they're willing to take a few more risks. But risk can be expensive. So I don't know. You know, it's really good, but it's very different. Much more color.
And a lot more tech, I'm assuming. You know, they expect technology. It's not even like they want it. It's not even like you have to ask. You know that the expectation is that they want technology.
Yeah, for me, it's a lot of hand-holding, right? Since the beginning, a lot of the people that we work with have never used designers before, so we are educating them on what we do while we're doing it, and I think that the younger generation just expects that people know, and this is what it is.
Well, let's agree that the pandemic did do one thing. A lot of people tried DIY, and what happened? They failed. So what did they do? They called the designer and just showed. I have to say the pandemic did help design
I agree.
and designers to show how important they really are to make the home uniform, beautiful,
I
make it
agree.
all work and flow and work with their lifestyle. Would you agree?
I was never busier than I was in the pandemic.
Good.
Yeah.
And how you doing now? You doing
Well,
okay?
we're still waiting on some things, but yeah,
Okay.
we're cool.
Okay. Any other questions? I think you have time for one more. Okay, in the back. There you go.
I guess it's more about how do you talk to your clients about new trends, about bringing in something you want. They have a house full of gray walls and you're bringing in warm and neutral. So how to ease them into that?
I think there's a way to say everything. I pride myself on being a really good communicator with clients and just stuck in relationships. So I can share anything with the client. That trust starts at the very beginning. And I feel like, you know, once you have it, you can get them to understand your POV. I had a tough time recently with an old client, right, who wanted the sensibility that I had 12 years ago. And so that was a little bit of an uphill battle, but it was really good education for me on how to introduce new ideas and so forth. But eventually we got there. It looks like a real good compromise between the designer that I was and the one that I am now, and they're really happy. So instead of white walls, I got plaster. That's not a bad thing. Yeah.
Let me just say, I love the designer you are now. I don't know what you were before, but I love what you showed us.
Thank
so,
you.
Michelle, thank you so much. You
Thank you
did
very
such
much.
a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gonna have to do this again.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Okay, thank you all. I just want to remind everybody to come back here at 2:30. There is a Sheryl Crow giveaway for tickets. We have our toast for NKBA, 60th anniversary. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.